Happy Arvo. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me for
this week
year
in Australia.
That's right. We did it. We did it. We did it. 2024 is over. 2025, here we come. It's time to celebrate, y'all. How are we going to celebrate? Well, first of all, first and foremost, look what I've got right here. A knife, but not just a knife. What I believe to be all the necessary materials to make my first slice of fairy bread ever. I'm very excited about that. I'm also kind of sad. It's like I'm mourning the fact that I'm going to finally try fairy bread. You can never go back. You can never try it twice. But we're going to do that. And then as I do that, or after I do that, I don't know. I don't plan things out very well. We're going to go over the top 9. That's right, top 9, not top 10. Top 9 things that kind of stood out to me this year. Some of my favorite posts, favorite news events, big things that happened in Australia. Let's go. Okay, first and foremost, we got to make the fairy bread, okay? Now, I'm nervous about this. I've seen so many pictures of fairy bread. I was going to look up like how to make it. I think it's pretty straightforward, to be honest. You guys let me know if I screwed up. You got to start with the butter, don't you? I have been letting this sit out, so hopefully it's soft enough to spread nice and easily. I don't know. And I heard you use a lot of butter. That's what you guys told me. That's what I've read. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's not the softest butter in the world. I'm trying my best. Hold on. You know what? Hold on. Oh my God, guys. Okay, I've been buttering this bread for like 15 minutes now, okay? I see why people use butter knives now, okay? I'm not... This is supposed to be like the easiest recipe in the world that you can't possibly screw up. And I'm doing my best to mess it up. But rest assured, the bread, it's thoroughly buttered. Now, as I've said multiple times, I did order hundreds and thousands special delivery, maybe all the way from Australia. I don't know. And it never showed up. So I'm settling for this. The exact same thing. It's just called sprinkles. And I made sure to get the round, the small balls, you know. So it's authentic as possible. And now I will generously dump sprinkles onto the bread. Is anybody still watching out there? Okay. Somebody, please. Okay. I'm trying to make it look just like the pictures. I'm pretty happy so far because it's sticking to the bread. It's sticking to the butter. This is really genius, guys. This is starting to look like a real authentic fairy bread. I don't want to unnecessarily overdo it. Wow. Wow. I'm taking the butter off. All this crap. Wow. What have I made here, guys? There's only one step left. And don't think I forgot. You have to cut it this way into a triangle. Am I right? I know I'm right. Well, I hope I'm right. Okay. Let's see, I'm making this. I'm doing my best to mess this up. Come on, man. Cut the bread in half. Yes. And just like that, I've concocted 2 authentic-ish pieces of fairy bread. Whew, this could have been its whole video. And now, this is the last time I will have ever not tried fairy bread. Happy 2025. Way crunchier than I had anticipated. Would you like some? That was exactly, other than the crunch, exactly what I anticipated for years. Sprinkles with butter on bread. What an odd combination, butter and sprinkles. Genuinely, it's pretty good. It's better than it should be. Like, that passes the test, guys. I would absolutely munch down on this, and as you can see, I am. If I was at a 3-year-old's Australian Bluey-themed party, and they had fairy bread, it would be gone. I'm impressed that you're able to dress up a piece of white bread like that and make it taste festive. Wow. Wow, guys. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, shall we move on to the countdown? Number 9 on my list of memorable stories, events, things that happened in Australia in 2024. I'm going with the portrait of Gina Reinhardt, I believe her name is, and her wanting it to be removed from the National Gallery of Art. That has stuck in my head. I've referenced it many times this year. I think that's hilarious. It's a hilarious portrait. It's one of those stories that you can't forget, and it happened this year. Or last year, in 2024. What an iconic memory. Moving on. Okay, now this one might deserve a higher place on the list. I'm not going to lie. Because really, I chose this to encapsulate. This was the culmination of what has been an entire year of complaints online that I've seen. If you watched This Week in Australia, you've seen pretty much every week posts against Woolworths and Coles. And the culmination was the Woolworths strike that just happened recently. The $140 million estimated lost sales, I believe. And this was this was something that underlined kind of the entire year, at least for me, as far as reacting to Australian content. The hate for Woolworths and Coles. That was number 8. This is number 7, folks. Do you remember this? Barnaby Joyce, I think it's some Australian politician, right? Some guy that should not be found lying in the gutter drunk was found. I mean, it's kind of sad, to be honest. It's funny and sad. I don't know which to feel, but it's certainly memorable. Certainly. I hope he's doing better, genuinely. But what an iconic memory this video was. Unbelievable. That's definitely one of those things I'll never forget. All right, number 6. The Busker Rage in Sydney. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but once again, it's one of those things that just sticks with me. You know, I think about it late at night. The way everybody rallied around this busker, this woman, after she was kind of kicked out of her spot in Sydney by another busker. I'm not going to play this entire clip. It's 9 minutes long, but here you can get a taste of it at the beginning.
But I literally just started.
Yeah, you shouldn't have started because I was just people before you.
There's no one here forward.
Not here, but you over there because there's the sun. We can't leave our stuff here, as you can understand.
Then why didn't you tell me before I started
I
setting
think
up?
at the time when you came, I wasn't there because I left it briefly, and then I came back.
Yeah, but can you just let me finish the set?
Yeah, you can.
So, I don't know if you remember that, like I said, but you can go watch the entire thing. It's pretty unbelievable. Just her basically being bullied out of her spot, and it subsequently went viral I saw this on TikTok and different places. It's got 15,000 upvotes here. One of the most upvoted posts of the year on the Australian subreddit. And people rallied around her, and it was just very interesting. All right, number 5. This dude, Brian Houston, who is like a pastor at a church, accidentally tweeting ladies and girls kissing. Evidently thinking he was searching Google. And following up with, I think my Twitter may have been hacked. We'll go with that. It's one of those things, I'm never going to forget that. Number 4. Okay, these top 4 are really the big ones, I feel like. Okay. Inflation in general. Okay, 2024, really carrying on from 2023. It was the year of inflation. And thankfully it kind of peaked out and has been going down. But all around the world and all over the Australian subreddit were posts about inflation. One of which, the meat pie inflation. Meat pies for $10.90. Now, of course, we're still stuck with the high prices today, and they're still going up. It's not as quickly. But inflation was just a big theme in 2024. And number 3, related to number 4, but I felt it deserved its own spot. The housing crisis. Australian housing crisis. Lots of talk about the cost of living in Australia, particularly in big cities, and the unaffordability of homes. There was one post that stuck out to me about, someone was trying to rent out their backyard with a tent, and I think they were renting it for like $400 a week or something like that, just something outrageous in Sydney. And this was another thing that just underscored 2024, the housing crisis. Number 2, kids under 16 to be banned from social media after Senate passes world first laws. To me, I just thought this was major news. I think this is fascinating. As I've said many times, I'm a bit skeptical on it, but it's passed, and I do see the upside to it. Major upside potential. Social media can be extremely toxic mentally. I, for one, think that, I happen to grow up in a time right before social media where it basically started becoming invented when I was 16. And I think that was kind of the perfect time. So on some levels, I think this is a good idea. And I'm fascinated to see how it plays out. So to me, this was major news in 2024. And I mean, come on, guys. You already know number 1. How could I not? I mean, Raygun. Obviously. Raygun.
Okay guys, an important part about being a performer is being able to express yourself through movement, being able to move your body to convey a message.
What a wild story this was. Caught absolute wildfire throughout the entire world. Everyone was talking about Raygun, the Australian breakdancer. It took kind of a sad turn when it affected her mental health. And in retrospect, I still am of the opinion that it was all a bit much as far as I thought it was hilarious, but as far as actually being enraged at Raygun, I think that went a little too far. I mean, in retrospect, honestly, it was so funny and it was iconic and it will forever be remembered for better or worse, and I know a lot of Australians think it was totally embarrassing, which is understood, but it was the story of the year out of Australia, Miss Raygun. And with that, folks, that wraps it up. The year is over. All right. What a year it was. Unfortunately, a lot of those things, we're negative on that list, you know? Some positives, but some negatives. Hopefully 2025, all positive. That's not really the way the world works. And you know what? To be honest, the negative stuff is also just as interesting. So I'm here for it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye.